What is up, Zenless Epoxy? This is your boy Josh, and today we're coming at you with a more of a just talky type video. We're coming at you with some news and updates about the latter half 1.1 characters of Jane Doe and Seth Lowell. Now, there's been a lot of narrative circulating around these two characters, and I wanted to go through them now that a lot of their information, in particular their weapons, their kits and everything, are fully announced. Now, I'm going to be showing a little bit of gameplay, but this comes from the actual story quest out of them. I will have a Jane Doe guide video on Wednesday, and if you guys go like and comment on that video, show your support for that video. I actually have a $100, I think. I might be splitting into two $50 ones just to get more people involved, but there will be a fun little giveaway for Jane Doe, which is going to be extremely exciting. So make sure you join that YouTube video on Wednesday. I'm going to try to push out as to many people as possible. So, you know, get as many people involved and get you guys involved too. So let's start talking about these two characters. In particular, I wanted to actually talk about the character that I was more excited about, which is Seth. Let's really quickly go over what Seth, who we thought Seth was earlier, right? Seth was, oh yeah, he was going to be, you know, a defensive character. He was going to be able to give anomaly proficiency. We weren't going to see that many great use cases with him. But then as soon as we started to get a handle on his kit and actually play test him a lot more, Seth is now becoming one of the best buffers in the game. And it's not to say that he's going to trump over some of the other great buffers, but as an A-tier defense character, he is redefining what it means to be a defensive character. Because I'll be honest, he doesn't really even bring that much defense to begin with. So let's go over here to this page as it shows his intro here. And if we go all the way down to that bottom section over here, if there are other electric agents affiliated with the Criminal Investigation Special Response Team, when Seth's chain or finishing move during the basic attack lightning strike hits an enemy, the target's anomaly buildup res to attributes is reduced by 20 for a certain period, amount of time. Seth's whole shtick is to build up this electric bar, very much like Ching-Yi. And, you know, funny enough, like Julian, they all have this bar that they need to build up. So with Seth, he builds up this bar by utilizing his electric skills, a la his huge charge Monster Hunter-esque attack. Once he gets 75% of that, he's able to unleash this lightning strike electrified 4-chain attack hit. And it's not that strong. However, the implications and the buffs and subsequent debuffs, as we just mentioned earlier, that come from the electrified attack, the chain attack, is just absolutely disgusting. So firstly, you're getting the 20% anomaly buildup res down on the characters. Then subsequently, when you quick assist into your next character, or in Seth's case, you actually quick assist back into your front character. Versus, you know, how it was before, where we usually quick assist into the next character into the rotation. Seth actually quick assists back into the rotation. So let's say you have Jane Doe in slot 1, Seth in slot 2, Ching-Yi in slot 3. You have two different quick assist ways to branch back to Jane Doe, which this is how Seth is going to excel and really establish himself, just because he can fit into a team that has, you know, a quick assist on two different ways. And that brings me to my next argument, because yes, Seth is really spectacular, and I actually do want to mention this right before we go into it, why he's more of an attacker and than a shielder and direct tank, is that he gets his own weapon. Oh my goodness, he gets his own weapon, the Peacekeeper Specialized, and this weapon is nothing but a defensive character-oriented weapon. It has attack percent. It has attack percent and a 624 base attack. This is probably one of the higher sided A-tier attack options with respects to, you know, all the other, you know, factions or classes, right? The attacker class has quite a bit of, you know, attack, but when it comes to a defensive W engine, 624 with 25% attack on the substat, this is huge. And then when shielded, with which Seth, you know, grants a shield, the equip's energy regen increases by 0.4% anomaly buildup of EX and assist follow-up increased by 36%. This is going to be a weapon that you definitely want on Seth. You cannot go without this weapon. I'll be honest. Seth's like his damage gets gutted because of his attack, right? His accumulated or initial attack buff is based off of his W engine. It's based off of his drive disc. It's based off of his base attack when it comes to his level, so you need to max out his level as fast as possible, and then also based off of his core, which gives you extra base attack as well. So those are the priorities when it comes to Seth, and this weapon helps out in that department immensely. You definitely want to pick up this weapon, and low-key, it is a little bit of a bait, right? Because you have to pull on the weapon manner, and the weapon manner right now is just, I mean, if you're going to get Jane Doe, obviously it's going to be good, but I can understand to some perspective of a lot of people have been calling Jane Doe a bait character. I thought she was going to be a little bit more free to play. I wish she was. But let's actually go to it. Let's actually talk about Jane Doe. Now, in all respects, is a very powerful character. We've tested her out. You know, she can hit millions of anomaly, you know, 1 million, 2 million anomaly. She's extremely powerful. Right? And the damage she's able to get, especially with her W engine, she's pretty strong. Now, at M0 with Refinement 1 weapon, she can hit those numbers pretty easily. And people have proven it, right? She can hit those anomaly damages pretty easily. And it's not that she doesn't do great damage. It's that there are two aspects with Jane that I feel like a lot of people are kind of honing in on. One of the first ones is the need to pair with a Seth type character for those particular buffs. Sure, you can attach attack buffs to your Jane Doe, right? You can get your Sokakus, you can get your Lucy's, but it doesn't give her that oomph, in particular because she scales a lot of her stuff through AP. And if you don't have 420 AP naturally, which is very, very difficult to get without her W engine, Jane Doe's a little bit hard to get out the numbers. If you have R5 Rainforest, if you have R5 Weeping, then sure, you can reach those numbers. But then also with Weeping, right, then you need to include your Anomaly character, right? With Electro Lift class, you need to include your second Anomaly character. So then by which your quote-unquote potential damage somewhat gets a little gutted, because right now Jane Doe's best teams are stun, which is really unfortunate because Jane, I believe, the vision that they had for her is that she was going to be the renaissance of Anomaly. However, this leads into the second point. There's just not really a great niche for multi-anomaly teams. And what I mean by multi-anomaly, I mean that two anomalies in the same team, because Jane requires a second anomaly or wants to pair with an anomaly to be able to get out those, extra buffs. Thank God we have Seth, because he is going to be, a public security resonance character for Jane. In regards to the anomaly teams are just not that good. Grace is obviously great. You can get a lot of damage. If you have high investment, by all means, you can still get out damage, right? There's no going around that. Right? But when it comes to a lot of F2P budget players, the amount of investment is actually quite substantial, because then by which, going back to the Seth argument, you need Seth and the W engine, right? With Jane and Signature in order to get out those 1 million, 2 million damages that you see other people doing. And arguably, you probably need at least M1 on Seth, right? Because of the extension of the buff. Jane Doe doesn't get to her end of the rotation, the second assault, without that, or her third assault without that. And then we get to the argument of 1.2, right? 1.2 has Bernice. Will Bernice be that character that Jane needs? Potentially, yes, because Burn, right? Shock, Burn, and Corruption are going to be those dot anomalies. So Jane could really, really use a Bernice. But a lot of indicators say that still it might not be enough, right? And the team of Chingy and Seth, it's just already way too good because of the setup of the stun damage multiplier. It's a damage multiplier. It is literally multiplying after the fact, which 268 versus, 150, 180 is substantial. It is 2xing your damage. That is insane, right? Versus having to weave in these anomaly characters, get these certain buff timers right, which the window of opportunity is a lot smaller with those anomaly teams. And then finally, what I wanted to go over, and hopefully this video doesn't go on for too terribly long, hopefully you guys find some really good information from this, is the tier list. Now, when it comes to Jane Doe, unfortunately, I think she's going to go into tier 1. Tier 05 is for buffer characters, stunner characters, characters that get brought up because of these characters. I do not believe Jane Doe is going to be tier 0. She moves down to tier 1. If Jane Doe's tier 1, then she moves down to tier 1, and then Seth moves into 0.5, I believe. You get Grace still in 0.5 because Grace is still really, really strong. She stays here. I think she moves down to 0.5. Granted, this is high level, right? Ellen Jo is high level. Then, subsequently, Lycon, I believe, should technically move down to 0.5. I don't know how that's going to work, but he's still a strong character. Don't get me wrong. But then arguably that Kaleda is more useful within the Jane Doe team. So then she might even move up as Ellen Jo moves down, because again, just the ease of access of Jane Doe's damage isn't on top of a tier 0, but it still justifies that Ellen Jo isn't as strong as she's up here for. That's it for the video, and make sure you guys check out the Zenless Zone 0 guide on Wednesday. We're gonna do a $100 giveaway for that. It's crazy. And by you guys supporting the video, you guys allow me to do these fun giveaways and all that stuff. So thank you guys so much, and make sure you like the video. Let's get to 1,000 likes. 1,000 likes. I think that'd be crazy. 1,000 likes. Let's go. 1,000 likes. See you guys in the next video. Click on here. YouTube thinks you'll like this one.